Yo, 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 welcome back to Gridiron Podcast. I'm your host, JB. As always, joining me is Devontae Forever. What is going on, bro?
What's going on, bro? How are you?
Doing well, doing well. And let's not forget, so big weekend of the playoffs, obviously covering the divisional round, looking towards championship weekend. Damn, can you believe it's here already? Like championship weekend, here we go. 4 teams left. You know what I mean? Started with 32, of course.
Playoff games go quick. Playoffs go fast. It's just like they're just a fast ride. Besides like that one boring week of Pro Bowl, other than that, it kind of just like snaps by quickly.
Absolutely. I see that. And as always, appreciate all the support. And of course, shout out to the Sports Troll. This is also broadcasting live on there in that group. I think they have over 1,200 members, excuse me. I've been in that group for about 7 years now. Shout out to all of them. They troll and they funny, but they know they football. So glad to be broadcasting on there as always. Comment down below and we'll be able to read the comment on the show and everything like that. If you want to be on the show for championship weekend, Super Bowl, just let me know. We'll get you on. Come talk some football. All right, Devontae, here we go, man. Obviously, divisional round was pretty crazy. Has some injuries, has some big things going on. Not too many upsets, which of course I called. Well, what was your initial thoughts on the divisional round?
I mean, the divisional round was pretty good. You start to see things get kind of tighter. I think week by week you see things get tighter and tighter and tighter. Like I think wild card week is always the wildest. You never know what to really expect during wild card week, and everything's just a mess. And then like that week later, it's just like when things start to really like you really see what teams are, what really is what. Who can coach, who can't, who fold under pressure, who's not. So like I think this is just like definitely like one of those all right, like one of the more like, okay, this is about to get serious week. So like for me personally, like who watches football and stuff like that, I thought division round was really cool. It was really interesting. A lot of wacky stuff, right? A lot of randomness. No, I'm excited for this weekend with the AFC and NFC championship because like this is really where like it's gonna get fire for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I thought the divisional round was pretty fun actually. I was a little down by the injury to Patrick Mahomes because obviously that kind of hampers the game. Although shout out to Chad Henne, came in and took him right down the field, 98-yard drive, which I thought was incredible. The Bengal game kind of got away from the Bills, so it wasn't quite as exciting. But it was good football being played. Obviously, we'll get into all the games shortly. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of sad that it's coming to an end. It's just that quick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're gonna kick this off just talking about the very first game we talking about, man. And that is we starting off with what happened down in Philadelphia. Now, last week, you remember, I hit the upset alert on this game, and it was really, I just thought the Giants was playing hot. You know what I mean? I guess I was more high on Minnesota than most people. Not in terms of their defense, just as a team. I figured like their offense would be able to. I didn't even have the Giants beating the Vikings. So when they beat the Vikings, I was like, okay, maybe they can go to Philly. Jalen Hurts. Nah, it was total slaughter, man. Total slaughter. To the Philadelphia fans, like I apologize. You have my word. I will never pick the Giants ever again. When it comes to a game like that, they were thoroughly, systematically dominated every phase of the game. Barkley got off a 40-yard run, I think, like doing what he does, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Daniel Jones kind of looked like Daniel Jones again, although he still had a hell of a season. The Eagles defense was flying around. Jalen Hurts came in the game, didn't even have to do much. Just handed the ball off. It was like systematic slaughter, man. Like, so shout out to all the Philly fans. Damn, if I was ever wrong on a playoff game, I was wrong on that game. Even though I had it a close game, had the Giants winning by a field goal. It wasn't even that. You know what I mean? It was 38-7. So just taking a quick look at the stats, man. The stats was absolutely insane, man. Philly had 268 rushing yards, which god damn, 268 rushing yards to the Giants 118. And the Giants got a phenomenal running back and the quarterback runs. They still only had 118 yards. 26 first downs by Philly, man. That's just not fair. What are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 26 first downs. And they went 10 for 14 on third down. This wasn't even close from the get-go, man. Philly's defense is flying around. So Devontae, I asked you, are you surprised the game was not even close?
Well, I mean, I did have the Eagles winning by 10, but like I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. Because I listen to people like the fans in this group chat, and the fans in this group. Why? Because they were all everybody was I knew something was wrong. I knew something was very wrong because everybody was on this Daniel Jones trade. And you know what it felt like? It felt like the Cowboys. Exactly what it felt like. Excuse me, like Daniel Jones played the best game of his career. Similar, like another quarterback who played the best game of their entire career last week too.
Right.
And everyone was on this train. They were calling Daniel Jones Vanilla Mike Vick. Are we serious? And I'm the only one who's like, Mike Vick? He's not. No, Daniel Jones is not that. And any stretch form facet of the imagination. Like, could he run? Can he run with the football? Yes. But is he vanilla Michael Vick? No. Does he have the arm of Michael Vick? No. No, he does not. No. Can he read like Michael Vick? No, he can't.
Right.
No, he can't. Because you're saying basically Daniel Jones, if Daniel Jones is pretty much the white version of Michael Vick, you're saying he's the white version of Lamar Jackson. No, stop it. Cut that out. No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. We're not doing that. Okay. And I'm watching this game. I'm going, oh, Daniel Jones looks like the Daniel Jones I've been watching since day one. Now, he had a really great season. Obviously enough to where obviously they're going to bring him back next year. Obviously they're going to have to pay him. Now, how many years you want to pay him is what's going to be up for discussion. That's what I would say about the Giants situation, where it's like, it depends on how many years you want to give him. Do I think he's your quarterback? Number one, big answer. In my opinion, I'm going to say no, but he hasn't been given, the sample size isn't large enough to give him a big contract, or two, shrink his contract down that middle. So he's luckily in the middle lane. The only thing that was shocking about this game was how their defensive line got decimated. Really, the Giants have one of the better defense lines in this league, and they got mauled. But the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why they got mauled is because I told you from day one, Giants ain't got no secondary. Giants ain't got no receivers. And then I don't know why everybody swore. They're like, oh, I don't know, maybe this Isaiah Hodgins kid. No. That's what happens when you play a good team. You can get away with mediocre receivers and mediocre talent when you're not playing nobody like the Minnesota Vikings, whose defense was horrible. And where Kirk Cousins is known for not only playing in 1 o'clock. When you're not playing Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock, the Vikings are pretty much horrible. So you can get away with that until you play a real team and you realize, oh, my receivers can't get no type of separation. My receivers can't get down the field. My receivers ain't open at all. Guess what happens? The run game gets immediately shrunk. Eagles is playing pretty much man-to-man, pretty much playing like a cover two shell all game long. It was just smoking them and was smoking the Giants. The Giants had a very good season, a very shocking season. Giants coach is still coach of the year. But am I surprised that the Giants can compete with the Eagles? No. And I'm happy they lost, because now we can cut this wild card to the Super Bowl garbage out the way.
Not happy. Not happy.
Thank you.
Look, man. Looking at these stats, man. This is what the game came down to. 26 first downs to 13 for the Giants. 268 rushing yards to 118 for the Giants. What are you supposed to do, man? Like, I'd even would allow the 5 sacks, right? Like the one pick, okay, you know what I mean? But when Jalen Hurts throws for 154 and he was accurate, he didn't throw much, don't get me wrong. But when he was like on like that, and then they just ran the life out of the football, man. Like, what are you supposed to do? I thought the Giants defense was gonna be better up the task, you know what I mean? So yes, I am surprised the game was not close at all. It was systematic destruction. I'm thoroughly disappointed in the Giants' defensive line. Not that they were all world or nothing. And I know Philly has an excellent offensive line. There's no disrespect to them, but Giants' defensive line just got punked. Like, every time the Philly ran the ball, it was like they were like 5 yards downfield. You know what I mean? Like, they were never in the backfield. But yeah, shout out to Johnson and Kelsey and those guys, man. They literally systematic destruction. That's what that game was. I was thoroughly not happy with that game, but it does set up for an excellent NFC championship with them going against San Fran, who plays a similar style of just smash mouths. Like both defensive lines are just amazing. The offensive lines are good. Can't wait to cover that game later on in the show. Let's get to these comments and let's jump to the next game. All right. Jessica with the praise hands as always. Appreciate that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You said, where all them Giants fans at? Jason hit that. He said, Jason hit that upset button for the Giants for the Eagles. I did, man. I did. I thought the Giants was going to shock the world, man. Like, and it's not even like I thought the Giants were world beaters. I just thought they was going to make something happen. And boy, was I wrong. He said it was over in the first 6 minutes. Absolutely. Levante Armwood, the resident Giant fan, is here. He said DJ is top 10. Absolutely not, bro. Even he had a very good season, but he's not top 10. No. We're not doing that today. No.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean?
I get it. What up, cousins? Fly, Eagles, fly. It was good. Oh, man, the Eagles fans are of all shows, the Eagles fans are here today. Glenn Form, it was good, Pops. He said the Levante Armwood, he said, bro, you mad them Steelers ain't make it. Let me win. He's saying there's a little animosity behind your Giants slander.
How? We're not even in the same.
Oh, here we go. Another Eagle fan is here. Zach Brady, let's go. He said Jason Brown, most dominant O-line in the league, bro. Look, man. Look. I called the upset, bro. Like, what's done is done, as they say. But I literally thought it was going to be a close game. And I thought, okay, if Hurts' shoulder's a little banged up, and it never even got tested. You know what I mean? The Giants didn't even force him to run. They literally let him sit in the pocket, untouched, throw, just hand off the ball. And that was the game right there. That was the game. Hello, fellas. Good, Pops. Eagles were just too strong. Yeah, it didn't even look close. Like, it didn't look close from the get-go. Giants been fraud since week 1. Jesus. Like, Jesus.
They're gonna talk about how they pulled the Madden 4th and 8 on the first drive of the game. No, that's called I'm scared for my life. That's exactly what that's called.
They did, and they damn said true, but he was money the first couple drives and demoralized him. Absolutely, like from the pocket, he was light and sharp. Like, and then once they was just able to hike, hand the ball off, it was a wrap. Like if you can't stop that, and where Hurts is not even a threat to run. I know he had a few scrambles. It's not like he didn't run at all, but it's like, anyway, anyway. Oh, last comment. Scott Farmer Jr. said, we're going to do the same to San Fran. That's going to be a hell of a game. We're going to talk about that in a little while. First, let's get on to the next game we're talking about. Kansas City, Jacksonville. I call upset on this one too. And this one actually had me more upset and more disappointed than even the Giants game. As we all know, Patrick Mahomes has a high ankle sprain he suffered in the game early. I think it was early in the second quarter, and he sat out the entire first half. And what happens? Chad Henne comes in, 98-yard drive, a touchdown, capitalizes with a touchdown, puts Jacksonville down even more. Mahomes comes in. Clearly, he can't even hand the ball off on a stretch play, and he leaves them down for a touchdown drive. And then, of course, Jacksonville, as they usually do, start making some noise in the end. And then, of course, Agnew fumbles the ball. Chiefs get the ball back, and that's really it. Lawrence did throw a pick to Watson, which was a gorgeous one-handed catch, but at that point, the game was already over. So, obviously, Mahomes dealing with the high ankle sprain. He did throw a touchdown where he, jumped off the opposite foot. You know, Patrick Mahomes always do something spectacular each game, whether it's underhand, left hand. One of these days, he's gonna volleyball serve it to somebody. Like this dude always doing some unconventional stuff. But with that said, were you impressed with the Chiefs, man? Like, aside from the injury, of course, Mahomes didn't quite look like Mahomes. Were you impressed with the Chiefs, with this Chiefs team? Have you take a look at the stats?
Yes, absolutely. I was surprised. I was impressed with the Chiefs. Really, for one reason, like the defense is still Chris Jones is Chris Jones, but other than that, yeah, you can keep the rest. But I was impressed with the Chiefs on the way they actually were able to get physical for once. The Chiefs actually played physical football, and I can't even tell you the last time I watched the Chiefs actually play physical football with their new running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I believe I'm saying his name right. they played physical runner. Like their offensive line was just mauling the Jags. Like they were just mauling people. Where I'm looking like the Chiefs can play physical football. And it's
Scary
funny,
sight.
like I was like, oh, if they can do this, this can make them incredibly dangerous for Cincinnati, because it's not a type of football you're used to seeing them play. But it makes sense that they play. It made sense that they went and got him, as it makes sense how they kind of morphed their offense to that in a little bit, in a way to where they can do that, because of what happened to them the last 3 times they played the Bengals, where they just got ambushed by running the ball. So I would definitely say I'm impressed with the Chiefs offensively, because, like, Andy Reid's a genius. Like, Andy Reid's an offensive genius. There's nothing really to say about that. Like, bro's gonna score points no matter what. I think that everybody's. It's like a mixture of over exaggeration with this high ankle sprain, but it's gonna suck for him, but also, only thing that really prohibits him now is you're gonna have to make him stand in the pocket and throw the ball,
which he can, which
he definitely can. But
it's not the same.
It's gonna be a limited scramble instead of scramble 95% of the time.
Yeah, he's not taking off for a 50-yard sprint. You know what I mean, to ice the game. Yeah, no, I got you.
And then he has the one tight end who always is open, and Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is phenomenal, man. Like, forget the athleticism, forget how he breaks tackles, can juke and all that. Forget all that. The way he plays against the zone, you can't play zone against him, because he finds a perfect spot, turns at the right second, and Mahomes is smart enough to put the ball right on him. Then, of course, with the yards after the catch, he's phenomenal. So take a look at these stats, man. So Mahomes comes in, he throws the ball 22 times, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. If I showed you that stat right there, Devontae, you're like, yo, the Chiefs lost. You know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs lost. But what really gets me is the rushing yards. They both had 140. Both teams had 144 yards. Chiefs had way more attempts than Jacksonville. ETN was running the ball well. Jacksonville just got away from the running game, man. And it wasn't like they were down by 22 points, had to start throwing in the first half. Like, the way they abandoned the run, I think, kind of led to their demise. And of course, the fumble, obviously, that was the big thing, right? The fumble was a huge thing that kind of iced the game. But what got me was, I was like, yo, you don't need to do all that. You know what I mean? Just too much. And also, other than that, it was like a clean game. 50% for Chiefs on third down, over 50% for the Jags on third down. Jags didn't play bad by any means. It's just the turnover. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm not even counting the pick Lawrence threw at the very end, because I'm like, whatever. I thought he played okay. I thought he played in times. I thought he was off on a few throws that he should have made. Jags just got to find a way to have a complete game. They can't keep trying to pull these second half comebacks. I think they had 6 of them this season. You know what I mean? They just got to find a way to play how they play in the second half and the first half. And quite the opposite for the Chargers. They got to find a way to play in the second half how you play in the first half. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. That offensive line is mean. It's not the same offensive line the Bucs played, in the Super Bowl. They're big, they're nasty, they're mean, and they're technically sound too, man. That's the biggest thing about them. And Andy Reid, man, we got to show some love to Andy Reid. As a play caller, he's a genius, bro. He's a genius, and that's not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, because obviously a coach, quarterback, play caller, they go hand in hand. But some of the routes he be having these dudes run, they be wide open. And Mahomes obviously got a magnificent arm, and he's deadly accurate, so he could put the ball right on anybody. But the play calling is just insane. When they ran the only play I thought I was going to see, that I'm sure we're going to see this week, is that stupid shuffle to Kelce on the goal line. They didn't run that, so I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm thoroughly impressed with the Chiefs, just from the sense of the play calling alone. The defense played well, but they have a whole different task this Sunday in the AFC Championship with the Bengals. And we're going to talk about them shortly. But in the meantime, let's get to these comments, and then we'll talk about another team that not a quarterback who didn't show up. All right. Say, yes, we are Eagles. Will end that 49ers dream BS. Okay. That's a tough one. 49ers, it ain't the Giants. All right. Remember these takes next season. They're preying on a downfall. Giants fans just won't go away quiet, huh?
Not they're New York. We're New Yorkers, man.
He said, "Are the cowgirls still them boys? We about to talk about them right now." They're looking for Uncle Fred. Yeah, you know what? Where is he today? You know what I mean?
Like, you know where to be found.
Right. I'm gonna have to tag him. All right. Reggie Brown was gonna say they milking the injury. I'm telling you, you can't play on a legit high ankle sprain. It's a low sprain. Put some ice and Robitussin on it, and you good. Chiefs 27, Bengals 24. Bengals are rightfully the favorites, though. Jessica Brown, love the new graphics. Thank you. Tigo Crazy, what's good, fam? What's good, bro? Shout out to Tigo Crazy YouTube. It's my guy right there, man. It's my guy. She's played well. Now I don't know how this is going to play out against the Bengals. Yo, the Bengals is strong. Yo, Bengals is real, man. It's gonna be a tough game, bro. Yo, we gotta get you on the show, man. Especially when we switch this over and talk some hoops after the All-Star break. Glenn Foreman, the high spring will only matter to the announcers, and that's an excuse for KC fans. If they lose, Mahomes is Mahomes. He balls out, period. And he did what all backups should do when called upon them. Jags are coming next year. Yeah, I think this is not something for the Jags to hang their head on. I think the Jags play strong. Like, even when you go back and you look at the stats, like the Jags, they played a strong game. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the Jags folded. It's just when you're going up against the Bengals, going up against even the Bills, the Chiefs, you gotta play a full game. You know what I mean? You can't play half a game. It's just not gonna work. Matthew Harris was good, bro. He said, "I'm just glad the Bills are." We're gonna talk about that game too, of course, man. A lot of folks hyped the Bills got washed away. Raiders are getting Brady. Oh, don't get me started. I'm not even talking about the Raiders this week. I'm still mad at that franchise for a lot of stuff. So, Bill Maloney said Bengals versus Eagles for the chip, and Levante said Dallas lost me. I'm happy. Yo, the NFC East is ruthless, man. And I get it. They're all rivals. I understand it. But, like, they're ruthless with each other, bro. The memes and stuff like that are absolutely hilarious. All right, Devontae. Let's talk about something else that I'm sure you're going to be absolutely hype about, man. And that is the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys lost 19-12 to the San Francisco 49ers. Dak, of course, threw the 2 picks. Probably should have had 4, realistically. I went back and watched the game. He could have easily had 4, and one of the 2 that was dropped definitely would have also been a pick 6. But look, man, we know San Fran's a tough team. Purdy didn't even do much in the game. He did a good job of just kind of managing the game, and that's what he's supposed to do as a rookie. You know what I mean? 214 yards. San Fran got the run game going later on in the game, but they still only rushed for 113 yards. 21 first downs. Majority of that came in the second half. So, with that said, Devontae, you picked San Fran. I picked Dallas in somewhat of an upset, although I don't know how much of an upset that was. I figured Dak would not play as well as he did against Tampa because that 49ers defense is not Tampa Bay, but I thought he played better. Where does Dallas go from here, man? And then we'll get into the whole tweet that they Cowboys put out criticizing Dak Prescott, and I'll get your thoughts on that too. But first off, where does Dallas go from here?
Back home and do the same thing they do. They're gonna do next year. Do the exact same thing. Like, I'm just so happy because I don't got to speak on them for a very long time now. It's the same thing. God. It's the oh wow, you know what this look like? Oh, there's the Cowboys. That's exactly what this looked like. That's exactly what this looked like. Oh, there's the Cowboys. Defense played pretty decent. Defense played pretty defense. Defense. You want to talk schematically? Some people thought I was crazy. I told you when Mike Parsons played Trent Williams, Mike Parsons had 1 pressure. DeMarcus Lawrence 8 on the other side. Mike Parsons had 1 pressure. Why? Because Trent Williams is that elite. That was my whole point. Mike Parsons ain't seen nothing like Trent Williams yet, and I was dead right. DeMarcus Lawrence had a baller of a game now. But
Micah played well in against the run, though. He did a good job in the run. Did a very good job in the run, which is what we asked for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, but as a pass rusher, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Then you look at Tony Pollard getting hurt. That running game changed drastically. Why?
Absolutely.
Why? Because I've been saying this for months now. Zeke is not it no more. Zeke
just
is
76 yards on the ground for the Cowboys. That's not Cowboy-like. You know what I mean? They run the rock.
Zeke is slow. Zeke is slowing down. Zeke's getting older. He's not worth the money that he probably gonna try to command. He's not worth that. Clearly, he's not worth that. And now with Pollard having like the little fractured tibia or whatever, they might have to pay him. Sadly,
Right.
that's great, which is crazy. T.Y. Hilton, stop it. Like they have no stop it. They have one receiver, C.D. Lamb. Other than that, who else? Exactly. But I just named all those things. But who lost that game? Dak Prescott lost you that game. When your defense helped play that well and gave you chance after chance to win the game, and you blow it and continue to blow it and almost throw a pick six on the first play back. Bro. But what have I said about Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott's not top 10. He's He's mediocre. Only difference is he plays in a big market. He plays in a big market. It's just, he is in the same boat as Daniel Jones. He's not that good. Here's the reason why, why people are talking about him, because he plays in New York. I guarantee you, if he was in Tennessee or somewhere, nobody would speak on Dak Prescott. Nobody would speak on Daniel Jones. They're just okay. They're just okay in a big market, in a big old market. And guess what? The Cowboys are going to do the same thing next year. They're going to go out. They're going to get somebody random, and they're going to gas them up. Oh, we got this dude. Oh, it's over now. Oh, it's over now. Guess what? They won't touch the NFC Championship again. It'll be it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. The cycle won't break. I don't think the Cowboys will win a game until they won't even get to the NFC Championship until Jerry Jones retired. I really feel that way.
Not even retire. Die.
Probably.
I don't think he gonna retire. But man, look, late in the game, man, Pollard gets hurt, and I'm like, okay. And the shout out to, I believe it was Greg Olson, who on the commentary was like, yo, it's time for Dak Prescott to take over. Zeke, obviously, he's not effective unless it's short yardage, trying to run the ball. It's time for Dak to take over. In the very next play, Dak Prescott threw a pick. And not only did he throw a pick, the pick was so egregious that if Fred Warner, he was never supposed to even pick it off. It was supposed to be picked off before it even got to Fred Warner. You know what I mean? That's how bad of a ball it was. I not 100% surprised that Dallas lost the game, because that's how highly I think of the 49ers. I'm disappointed in how Dak played. Obviously, I knew he wasn't going to throw no 5 touchdowns like against the Bucks. I knew that was happening, but I thought he played well, but he didn't. You know what I mean? He played kind of like how he always does. You know what I mean? There was spurts of, like, when he drove him down to, when the Niners went down and got 3, he drove them down and scored. I was like, okay, Dak, that's what I'm talking about. And then it was just a bunch of nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say Dallas needs to look for a quarterback. I think that's a little. They owe him $31 million next year. It's a lot. You know what I mean? But just looking at the stats, man, 27 attempts, 206 yards, 1 touchdown, two picks. That's not going to cut it. We talked about it. You know what I mean? That's not going to cut it. And the defense played so well. I don't care what nobody say. That Dallas defense was flying around. They played well. And then they broke down towards the end. Niners just started doing what they always do. Run the ball, wear you down. That big ass offensive line, you know what I mean? Just kind of put an end to them. But I don't know where they go. So in the parts I agree, it's going to be a lot like the same next year. They're going to win some games. They're going to get some picks. They're going to Dak going to have a game where he throw 5 touchdowns. It's just, can he tone down that interceptions? That's the big thing right now, man. The turnovers is killing when I watch the Cowboys play, because they're senseless. You know what I mean? Whether it was the ones on Sunday, whether it was the pick 6 he threw against the Commanders week 18, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what are you seeing? You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. Dallas is tough. Now, I want to get it real quick when it comes to Dak Prescott. I want to get into this tweet. This is from the official Dallas Cowboys Twitter. It says Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in a narrow loss to the 49ers in a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't, again, generate self-inflicted wounds. Again, that is from the official Dallas Cowboys Twitter account. So, Devontae, do you have a problem with the official Twitter account kind of calling Dak out? Whether it's Dak or Peyton Manning or whoever this was going to be about, do you see this as a problem, or it's like, hey, you played bad, so what?
For the team, if I was a player in the team, yes.
Okay.
I would feel some type of way. If I was Dak Prescott, sure, I would feel some type of way. But in reality, in real life, and everything else? No. Why? Because it's just basically that's the Cowboys saying we might acknowledge that he might be okay. He might just be decent. Maybe he's not no top 10 franchise star quarterback. No. He's That's it. Like he's okay. And I think that was just the Cowboys doing that. Now, who really wrote this, he probably just might be fired after that because like that was an idiotic move. That's just called you talking too much. You can't be out here pillow talking like this. But no, it'll wash over the bridge. Why? Because let's be real here, and you give it a little time, people forget about this, and nobody will remember it. So is it really that big of a deal? No, but like if I'm Dak, would I feel some type of way? Yes, and the only reason why it's not even a bigger deal is because Dak already got his money. If he got his money, this would be massive.
True.
But because he didn't get his money, and because he already got his money, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, like I struggled on this one, like full disclosure, man, because I'm like, yes, he played bad. We know that. We saw him throw the picks. I can honestly say, watching that game now twice, you could put that loss on Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Defense held the Niners, who was putting them 30 a game. They held them to 19 points. You know what I mean? And 3 of those came directly off of a pick that Dak threw. So it's a little tough, but I'm thinking like, you know what I mean? As obviously never played in NFL, just playing sports, to have your team call you out publicly like that, you know what I mean? That I'm kind of like, yo, that's kind of foul, you know what I mean? Because like the first thing I did, I went to the Bills when they lost, right? I went to Jacksonville when they lost, and they didn't tweet that unless they deleted it, but I doubt that, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, they're ruthless. But then again, somebody pointed out on Twitter that Dallas, their social media has been doing this all year long. So this is not a new thing. But I'm like, I kind of think that's a little foul, man. like it's a little extra. And then they got the picture of him looking at the tablet, looking back at the plays and stuff like that with his head down, kind of single him out a little bit. You know what I mean? I think it's a little messed up. I know some people are gonna say and whatever because it's Dak Prescott, because it's the Cowboys, but in totality, I do think it's a little grimy that they did that to their starting quarterback who next year they're paying $31 million just for next year. Then after that, they can get rid of them if they want or re-sign them or whatever. But at the same time, that is still your starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and they literally threw him under the bus. So before we get into Buffalo and Cincinnati, let's get to these comments. Let's see what we got. Let's see. All right. Reggie Brown said Dak was always overrated. Romo was better by a lot. With an above-average quarterback, Dallas would have beaten San Fran. Really hard to disagree with that after watching the game and then watching the game again. Like what Dak? There was a play where clearly Dallas had a run play called, right? And Dak audible out of the run play and almost threw what would have been at the time his third interception, which would have been a pick six. And if you look at the screen, I should have took a screenshot. Mike McCarthy and Kellen were on the sideline, and you could literally see their hands out, like you know what I mean? Like, why'd you audible out of that? It was insane, man. So yeah, I it's hard to disagree with that. Like, so in that final play call by the Cowboys was some 2003 Albany High play calling. Like, who the fuck called that? And no chance to win. Yeah. At that point, you just throw the Hail Mary if you can't reach the end zone, because it would have been probably like a 70-yard throw, 60-yard throw. That then you throw it close, you know what I mean? Or throw a crossing route and then have a bunch of blockers, or throw a screen or something. That type of weird play they ran was just stupid, you know what I mean? Stephen Campbell, what's good, bro? He said Dallas also needs a new kicker. Oh my God, the kicker. The first kick he had got blocked. And from what everyone's saying, it would have missed regardless. Now, he did come back. He made a field goal. I think he also kicked an extra point. But yeah, that kicker, Brett Maher, who used to be money, you know what I mean? He used to be lights out. And now he's probably going to be looking for a new job. Levante Armwood, who's the toughest team left in the playoffs in y'all opinion? Which team would y'all be surprised to win the Super Bowl? That's a good question. Toughest team left. I might say Cincinnati because the offense is that electric and the defense is good. Now, the Cincinnati defense ain't as good as Philly or San Fran's, but San Fran or Philly's offense ain't as good as Cincinnati's. So that's who I would say is probably the toughest team left. But and who I'd be surprised? Nah, there's no team left in the playoffs that I would see as a surprise. Chiefs, Bengals, Niners, Philly, they all can go win the Super Bowl. It wouldn't really shock me. They're all like looking at each other. I know Purdy's a third string and a rookie, but they surround him well enough that even if he took them and won, I still would see all 4 teams seeing eye to eye.
I agree with that. I think it'd be cooler if Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl. It'd be cool if the Niners won the Super Bowl.
It'd be really ironic, right? Like,
it'd be cool. It'd be a cool. I think it'd be the best story. But like, nah, I get you.
Who do you think is the toughest team left?
Philly.
All right. He said take Dak and Jones and trade them for some Jordan cleats. God damn, man! Like, God damn, he said some Jordan cleats. The form is gut pops. He said Dak and Mike McCarthy lost the game. Dak played like a rookie. His field vision laughable. Paris Hilton caught more Boris ball than T.Y. Hilton away from time. The game plan in the second half was horrible. Defense balled out while staying on the field so long. Absolutely. Dak will be back. Zeke should not. The Cowboys are America's team, just like America in shambles. God, that's the benediction on the Cowboys eulogy right there, man. Damn. Pollard was key. He went down. The Cowboys went down. Yeah, it was like all of a sudden the offense looked so slow once he left. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's fun. It's crazy because he ended up getting hurt the same way Mahomes did. The only thing is he broke his leg when Mahomes just, you know what I mean? High ankle sprain, low ankle sprain, whatever. Jamie, hey, I'm sorry about the Giants, but like, hey, like, how are you? Cowboys need a spike from Little Giants.
How are I? Like,
God, yeah, that play call is horrible. One big note, Jason, Kittle catch, he was not eligible because he was covered up on the line. I did see that after the fact, like after the game, like that shouldn't have been a thing. Yeah, it's like how did that get missed? Whatever. Like, I mean, also Jamar Chase, in my opinion, he caught the ball against the Bills, which we'll talk about shortly. But Jamie said maybe the Giants could have won if we played Dallas. Now that would have been a slight tough scene.
That'd have been hilarious. That's get your popcorn ready for that.
Don't forget Dallas Schultz and his 1 foot toe tap. Oh my God, that one hurt my soul. Because it's like, bro, how do you not know to get the foot down? And I get it. Some people were saying he's supposed to know he's a tight end. I'm like, dude, do you know how much they throw him the ball? They throw him the ball a lot. You know what I mean? As if he was a Kittle or a Kelsey. Like, he should know to get his foot down. That was the most Dallas Cowboys thing ever, man. Like, I did not understand what they were doing. He said, that's my guy, Devontae. Yeah, whatever, man. Nah. All right, here we go. Now let's get to the game that I was hyped to see. Me and Devontae talked about this game a lot. Of course, it was a game that didn't happen on the Monday night game. DeMar Hamlin still recovering. He was actually at the game in the press box. So, Buffalo, Cincinnati. This game was also systematic destruction. Now, I did pick the Bengals to win. I thought Buffalo put up much more of a fight. I did think Cincinnati was a better team in every phase possible. But Bills being home, I did. It wasn't supposed to snow, but when I heard it was snow, I was like, oh, this is going to be a tight game. It was not. The Bengals systematically whooped their ass. Burrow had 23 completions, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Cincinnati had 172 rushing yards, man. 30 first downs. 30 first downs in the NFL game. 30 first downs to the Bills. To the Bills 18. Josh Allen, he played what I said was okay. I know some people say he played horrible. I thought he played okay. 265, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. We know your boy Stephon Diggs was yelling at him on the sideline. Obviously, he wanted the ball more and everything like that. Devontae has a slogan, all wide receivers are divas. It kind of showed. But Devontae, I'm going to ask you, were you impressed with the Bengals after they literally just beat down the Buffalo Bills, who a lot of people had going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. This is gonna be very short. I'm gonna just put it this way. Yes, I'm impressed with the Bengals. Yes, I'm impressed with how they ran physical in the snow, which is not a surprise to me. They're from Ohio. Ohio has cold weather. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a deal anyway. The Bengals played great. Congratulations to the Bengals. I will talk more in depth about the Bengals later in my game. Now, without that out the way, I want to make this very clear. This was the most embarrassing game of the weekend.
Whew.
And it's not close. This is the most embarrassing game of the weekend. This is the biggest choke job of the weekend.
Whew.
I told you since day one. Since the day the whole Damar Hamlin thing happened. Because first of all, the Bills were everybody's Super Bowl pick.
Before
the first week of the season, everybody was picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. When they beat the Chiefs, people thought it was a lock that they were going to the Super Bowl. When the Damar Hamlin thing happened, everybody thought they were going to the Super Bowl. Everybody and their mother thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. They had everything in their hands. Especially, first off, I thought they were going to lose. First off, it looked like they're going to lose that game in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And they snuck out. Because of the tragic accident.
Of course.
So then now you got boom. All this, you got the stupid coin toss crap and all this other stuff. And now you get the game back where you want it. In Buffalo, in the freaking snow. In the snow, and then they thought the NFL thought you guys were such a lock to win. They were already sold 50,000 tickets for the neutral site game between Bills and Kansas City. They were already so like, are you serious? And guess what? You didn't lose a close game. You got murdered 27-10. 27-10. Why? In your own home field. Damar Hamlin was there. All right, it might have been a doppelganger of Damar Hamlin who was there because they had that press box that you couldn't even see in. You couldn't even see him, but you can see the owners in they press box, but you couldn't see him. They had my bro in a box. That's okay. That's a whole different story. Damar Hamlin was at the game, walked out the tunnel, and you still got mollywopped at home. You got embarrassed. I wasn't really that much alive for the 4 runs to the bowl or whatever, and they lost. I wasn't alive for the first Bills choke jobs. This is one of the worst choke jobs I've seen since 1998. One of the worst. This was awful. This was embarrassing. First off, and now let's talk about Stephon Diggs. Do I think Stephon Diggs has the absolute point? Yes. Why? You want to know why I think he has a point? You agree, Jason, that the Bengals defense is good, right?
Yes.
When the Bengals give up touchdowns, who gives up the touchdown? I think his name starts with an E.
Eli
Apple. Yeah. So like if it's so bad to a point where the Bengals are playing man-to-man coverage and you got Eli Apple on me, I don't care if I'm running a curl route, a drag route, drag to the flat, you throw me the ball. Why? Because he is not like that. So the fact that you're making Eli Apple talk crazy to me after the game, Cancun on 3, and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'd be mad we lost. Yes, I would be mad I'm embarrassed. Why? Because you know that he's not like that.
Yeah.
Not in any stretch form of the imagination. So, of course, if I'm Stephon Diggs, this is not being a diva. This is just called being simple of, bro, what are you doing?
Right.
And this was one of the biggest choke jobs I have ever seen. I hope Josh Allen comes back and gets it together, and hopefully the Bills finally get a run game. And first off, their offensive line got murdered too. But this is the real reason why I told you got to run the ball in the playoffs, or you're gonna lose. And what did the Buffalo Bills show? They can't run the ball. That's all they showed.
Absolutely.
They can't run the ball, and guess what? They got mollywopped by teams who can run the ball.
Look, man. Anybody who watches the show knows I am big on Cincinnati, right? I think they play great offense. I think they play really good defense. I love the way the 2 linebackers play against the pass. I know Wilson is way better against the pass than Pratt, but I like the way Pratt. Yeah, it's like he's almost like a short tackle. You know what I mean? They catch the little stop route, short tackle. The Buffalo Bills, and they're not even like I know they're not great at running the ball, but you still have to try, right? And just looking at the stats, man, 63 rushing yards. The Bengals' run defense is good. Don't get me started. It ain't that good. You know what I mean? They didn't hold the team to 63 rushing yards. Now, they did do a good job on Josh Allen when he started to scramble, but that's the key. You got to run the ball as well. Too often, what I accuse Josh Allen of, wanting to be Superman, right? Wanting to throw balls through coverage and things like that. We talked about this all season long. And obviously the injuries, like obviously, hell, even DeMar, who was a backup, can't play, right? And of course, obviously the Von Miller injury was huge. Von Miller is what I call a force multiplier in the playoffs. But even with that, I'm impressed with the Bengals, man. And it's really the 172 rushing yards. That's the thing. Mixon, I think he brings a whole different element to that Bengals offense. Hell, if the Bills go out and get a Josh Jacobs in free agency, he can do for them what Mixon does for the Bengals, you know what I mean? Which get those tough yards. There was a whole like drive where the Bengals just kept running the ball, you know what I mean? With Mixon and P. Ryan just running the ball down. Like from 7 minutes on in the fourth quarter, Burrow was literally taking the play clock down to 1 second and snapping the ball. They was literally just milking the clock because the run game was working, you know what I mean? And although I know Von Miller's out, but you still got Phillips, you still got your boy Mario. Like you still got him, and like I feel like the Bills, they kind of knew what was up. The Bengals won the toss. The Bills gave them the ball. They went down and scored. Stopped the Bills, went down and scored, and the game never seemed close. And if it wasn't for the catch, not a catch, got to take it to the ground. Whole thing with Jamar Chase, they down 21. You know what I mean? They down 21. And look, man, like the Bengals are an excellent team. I picked them to go to Super Bowl, you know what I mean, for a reason. Obviously a tough game against the Chiefs we'll talk about shortly, but they're tough, man. And so yes, I am impressed with the way they played, especially with the way they played spy on Josh Allen, right? Because it's like as soon as he broke contain, they were right there. Now Allen's big ass dude, so obviously he did break some tackles, but now going up against Mahomes, who also likes to break contained, even though he's gimpy. We'll see what happens with the ankle, but you're gonna have to do the same. The thing about the Bengals is they play down to their competition when it comes to like, you know, okay, you're gonna play a Cleveland team that's not in the playoffs, they're gonna get beat by them, right? They get off slow and everything like that. But when it comes to playing the Bills and the Chiefs, they get up to play those guys, even though they're looking at them right eye to eye. They get ready, and so I got to give credit to Zach Taylor. I know some people nitpick him, things like that, but he gets them ready to go. So I'm definitely impressed with the Bengals. So let's get to these comments and let's talk about championship weekend and let's get out of here. All right. First things first. I called for him and he showed up. My guy, Jeremy Forge, he said, I'm done with football until August. Done. Our offensive and defensive coordinators aren't pumping gas by next week. I'm just going to lose it. Unreal. Yo, man, I appreciate you showing up, bro. Real talk. But yeah, man, like, yeah. Dayball, the Bills were missing Brian Dayball heavy. You know what I mean? Because we saw how he was able to quickly turn around Daniel Jones. And looked like Josh Allen was missing him, right? He threw some picks this year, things like that. But yeah, I think it's time to make a change. I think Leslie Frazier should be up for a head coaching job, despite just getting some points thrown up on him. Because it wasn't like the Bengals put up 40, right? They put up 27 points. So, all right. Levante Arwood says, so happy Bills lost. Living in Buffalo made me hate the Bills and the only team in New York jokes. Good riddance. God damn. They were a Super Bowl favorite, though. They were a Super Bowl favorite, and they did get demolished. All right.
Biggest joke now.
Jamie said Josh Allen is a crybaby. He does have like that pout face. Like I was watching him on the sideline. He's just kind of like he does have that pout face. And I still don't agree with the Stephon Diggs thing, though. That's it's like showing up your teammate. I'm not with that. I know he has to kind of have a point, you know what I mean? But I'm not with that publicly, of course. Do that in the locker room. You know what I mean? That's my only thing. Do it in the locker room, not in public. Jose, what's good, bro? He said chip on the Bengals' shoulder is massive, all because the NFL ruling neutral field coin flip beat the shit out of the Bills and will win by 14 over the Chiefs, in my opinion. We're going to get into that game shortly. I think the Bengals have a great shot to go to the Super Bowl again, back to back, and hopefully we'll see what they do when they get there. Jamie said, I'll take Diggs to help the Giants. Of course you would. The Giants need a receiver bad. So, like, of course you would. But if he's mad at Josh Allen, can you imagine what he's going to be saying to Daniel Jones?
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord.
Jeremy said we won't win one until that stadium is blown up and we get a new one because it's cursed.
It's on the
That's
way.
a good point. New stadium is on the way. I saw Governor Hochul put out a statement saying so, like the proposal and everything is almost done to start building it. So it looks like it's coming. Like, why are the DB playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage? Jeremy going through it right now. I get it, bro. Trust me. I'm a Raiders fan. I get it.
Leslie Frazier was blitz heavy for no absolute reason.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like,
and
yo,
it's funny because he wouldn't stop blitzing, and yet on the other side, Jacksonville would not blitz Mahomes when he was gimpy. So I don't know what was going on, but Glenn Foreman's good. Popsy said, without being biased, bottom line is we kicked their ass, fellas. Maybe we outcoached them and made better adjustments. And on last Sunday, we were the better freaking team. Yeah, I thought the Bengals were a better team going into the game. Like, the Bengals have a better offense. The defense is even, I'd say, close. I think the Bengals have a better kicker. So I do think the Bengals were the better team, and they beat them.
Buffalo, they demoralized them. They demoralized them. Don't get me wrong. They demoralized them.
They beat them down.
There's one thing when you just didn't come to play. Just purely out of that isn't like you can be the better team, be the better this and that. When you literally did not come to play.
Right. I did think the Bengals was going to smoke them on that Monday night game too, but I still expect to see more from the Bengals. I mean, from the Bills, I'm sorry. The Bengals defense is good. It ain't 2000 Ravens. You know what I mean? Like, they don't got the Legion of Boom roll walking around, so I do expect more from the Bills, especially just, again, going back to the stats, running the ball. The Bengals, again, yes, their rush defense is good, but again, they don't got Reggie White out there. The lack of rushing attempts is what's always going to hurt the Buffalo Bills because it puts so much on Josh Allen. Watching him at the press conference, not only did he look sad, of course, and he does have a pout face. He looks spent. You know what I mean? You got to get him help, not in the sense of talent, get him help in the sense of running the ball. That's a break for him. And that don't mean running the ball with him. That's my only thing when it comes to Josh Allen. All right. For those who talk about missing players, my crew were missing 3 starting offensive linemen. Yeah, but the thing smart about the Bengals, and which is why I give credit to Zach Taylor when many people don't, is because when you have backup offensive linemen, it is not smart to just put them in a situation where they have to keep backing up and pass blocking. And one of the things they did was they allowed, if you look at the stats, Joe Burrow threw the ball 36 times, but then they also ran the ball a good amount of times. And then you take a look, the Bengals had 172 rushing yards. That is how you help backup offensive linemen get into the game. You know what I mean? They get in, they can go forward instead of backwards. And all of a sudden, now they're more confident. Now the Bengals going into championship weekend, if they get players back, you don't have 5 offensive linemen. You now have 8 offensive linemen that you can now rotate in. You know what I mean? That's the good thing about what Zach Taylor did when it comes to running the ball. All right. Eagles will knock that chip off their shoulders real fast. Yo, Philly fans is flying high today. Oh, that's my God, they are flying high.
Nightmare for the Bengals. That is the worst nightmare for the Bengals.
They are flying high. And shout out to my boy Jared checking out the show. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, man. So yeah, Bengals just legit whooped the ass. You know what I mean? There's no ways about it. Glenn Foreman said, "We are the defending AFC championship. Put some damn respect on our name. Cincy out. We know. Everybody's respecting the Bengals. I've not seen any disrespect to the Bengals in a long time. Except for like the first few weeks when they lost to Dallas, you know what I mean? Lost to Pittsburgh and all that. But since like week 8, ain't nobody disrespecting the Bengals. They are the favorites to beat the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. So like ain't nobody disrespecting them no more.
And if the Bengals win and lose the Super Bowl, it's gonna be the same reason why they lost last year. It's just gonna have one name stamped on the file.
And that is?
I think starts with an E.
And that is?
Eli Apple.
Oh my God.
Bro, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll put it this way. This is why I'm so frustrated with the Bills. This is why I'm so frustrated with the Bills. That's why I'm so frustrated with the Chiefs. If you look at the Rams-Bengals game, because I know you watched it. You watched it more than once, and you watched it with me once.
Yep.
They literally, you know, was the whole thing of their whole entire team, their whole entire game plan. If it's 1-on-1, we throwing the ball.
True.
If it's 1-on-1, we going that way. Why? Because we know. Because think about it. When the Giants play man to man, when Eli Apple's on the team, guess what happened? Eli Apples got cut off, got kicked off the team. When he went to New Orleans, when they played man to man with him, he got kicked off the team. And now he's on the Bengals, right? Where they do play zone, which he does shine way more in zone. But you know, as a player, can you get caught playing zone 99.9% of the game? Absolutely not. Not against a good quarterback, right? So what I'm saying is, when you got one-on-one coverage, if there is a soul I'm throwing at,
it's Eli Apple. I get it.
100%.
I get it.
My problem with the Bills and how stupid they were, they didn't throw the ball to Stephon Diggs at all. That's the part where I'm looking at them like, what are you doing? Like, if Eli Apple caught like 2 picks on him or something like that, okay, I can live with that. You didn't try. You didn't attempt. If there is one weakness on the entire Bengals defense, they have a really good stout offensive defensive line with BJ Ritter, Hill, and Hendrickson and Hubbard. Then they got Jermaine Pratt, who's the run stopper, Logan Wilson, the pass stopper. If there is one weakness on that entire defense, it is one cornerback.
Yep.
It is one like Mike Hilton is a really good tackler in a nickel slot corner. He plays the job very well. Cam Taylor-Britt and then there is one weakness. And the point is, Jason, you should know this. If as an offensive player, as an offensive game plan for people who like to score points, you have one job: is attack the weakness of a defense.
Yep.
And they refuse to do that. And that's why
I get you on the Bills. I get you on the Bills. I get you on the Bills. As for the Super Bowl, and I know it's fun to make fun of Eli Apple and everything like that, but let's not act like Cooper Kupp didn't have 1,900 receiving yards. He was doing that to everybody. It wasn't just Eli Apple. Like, he had 1,900 receiving yards.
But the first thing I told you, but first off, Odell was murking him too. That's my point.
It's Odell Beckham. You acting like he's getting dodged. Like, dominated by whack dudes.
But the point is a very simple point where it's like, yo, if you play man to man, I'm gonna give you the ball. Why? Not saying that, like, I don't know if I got Richie Grant from the Giants going against Eli Apple, I'm gonna throw him the ball. No, but if I got Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Deebo Samuels, these star receivers, and Justin Jefferson, these star receivers in the league, and you got him one-on-one with him, no, I'm throwing him the ball 3 times, 99.9% of the time. Because guess we're real here. We all understand how hard it is to get one-on-one singles, man-to-man coverage as a star receiver in this league.
So a lot of lurking.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if the Bengals are giving you that and you don't take it, you're an idiot.
All right. So let's get to the rest of these comments. We got to talk about these games coming up. Bengals were a better team 100% from the first play to the last play. It's just the biggest game and don't show up at all. Had nothing to do with the weather. Buffalo just played absolute shit. D-line, offensive line got embarrassed.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. So let's get to these games coming up because this is what I really want to talk about.
Let's go.
First up, Philadelphia Eagles going up against the San Francisco 49ers. This is the first meeting of the season between them. Both teams are very, very good. They kind of play similar styles. They can throw it, but they also they like to run it. You know what I mean? Difference is Hurts is a part of the run game. Purdy is more of a pocket passer, although he will take off and run. Who wins this game? Sunday, 3 p.m., NFC Championship. What do you got going to the Super Bowl?
I got the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I think this game is going to be very hard-hitting, very close. I just think that the Eagles slowly pull away at the end. I think it's going to come down to just Brock Purdy being young and not being able to put up a game-winning drive. That's what I really see it coming down to. So, with that being said, I got this game being Philadelphia Eagles 27 and the 49ers 20.
27-20. All right. This one is not easy for me personally. I like both of these teams because I like defense. You know what I mean? And both of these teams play defense. So this one's tough, man. On one hand, Philadelphia got dogs on that front seven. Dogs. You know what I mean? They get after it. On the other side, the 49ers, they got dogs too. You know what I mean? They got to me what's easily the best linebacker in the game, Fred Warner. Hell, the second best linebacker in the game might be Greenlaw. You know what I mean? Nick Bosa is probably top 2 pass rusher. To me, it comes down to him and a healthy TJ Watt, and that's it. I know Micah Parsons, but no, it's those two. Nick Bosa is that dude. You know what I mean? And Armstead and them ain't no slouches either. They are good. So what really comes down to for me is the offenses, because both defenses are stellar. Christian McCaffrey in that run game, Debo running, catching everything, versus Hurts throwing to AJ Brown, Smith, and things like that, and obviously Sanders in the run game. This one is tough, man. I keep going back and forth. I can't pick one where I'm like, oh yeah, I know that's gonna happen. It's gonna be tough. But for right now, I'm going with Philly. I'm going Philadelphia pulls one out close late. I'm talking late, like 30 seconds left. Purdy got to go down. He throws a pick. You know what I mean? I got Philly winning 20-17, literally in the final seconds of the game. I think they get a pick on Purdy. 10 seconds left. Take a knee, and we out. I think
this is the real test to see if Hurts is healthy or not. This is gonna be the biggest test because it's like
San Fran ain't gonna do what the Giants did, right?
No, hell no. Like now with Nick Bosa, like you're gonna see how healthy Lane Johnson is and these boys, because like Nick Bosa ain't no slouch. He ain't none of those dudes on the Giants where it's like they get after it. So like this is gonna be a dog. I think out of these two games, this is gonna be a dog fight.
It's neck and neck, man. And let me say something. If Purdy wants to make a name, obviously yes, you win the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal, of course. Wins this game right here, this is the game you win. Because absolutely. You ain't going to in Philly, hostile territory. You go in there, you make some passes, especially if I'm the Niners, you win the toss, you go get the ball first.
Yep.
Have him go down, you know what I mean? See what he does. You get him that experience early. But see the same thing with Philly. Hurts gonna have to run that ball. This is not the Giants defense. Let me tell you something about Nick Bosa. And I do not say this lightly. He is the most technically sound pass rusher I've ever seen in my life. Aaron Donald and Reggie White and all those guys. He is the most technically sound. I'm talking when he plays contain, outside shoulder, free and loose, inside, you know what I mean? Holding, like he is the most technically sound pass rusher I've ever seen in my life. That dude was a monster. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it comes down to the inexperience at quarterback. And not that Hurts been in the league for 15 years, but I think it comes down to Purdy playing in what will only be his 8th game. I think he'll make the fatal mistake trying to force it late in the game. I think that's the case. I think they had a more established quarterback from a mental standpoint, you know what I mean? I think Niners would win the game. But because it's Purdy and this is basically what they're reduced to, not that I still think it's his job. I think Philly wins 20-17. Let's get to these comments and let's get to the Cincinnati, Kansas City AFC Championship game. All right. He said, yeah, let's go. Of course.
I got Philly.
He said, Leon, what's up, bro? All right. He said, okay, Jason. Whatever, man. NFC will be one of the hardest hitting games this year. Eagles win 24-17. Okay, so we all got it close. We all got a close game.
Yeah. The dog.
All right. Here we go. The rematch. Now we got a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Kansas City Chiefs hosting again for the 4th year in a row. Hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals did beat the Chiefs early in the year, 27-24. I believe that game either went to overtime. I might be thinking about the AFC Championship game last year. I know they beat them by field goal. All right, Devontae. Obviously, Bengals are coming in red hot. I believe they've now won 9 straight games. Obviously, the Chiefs, Mahomes, we'll see what happens with his ankle. He is playing. I think he will be gimpy. You know what I mean? better than what we saw against Jacksonville, but he ain't, again, I don't expect no 50-yard sprint unless he absolutely has to. You know what I mean? With that said, who do you got winning? Going to the Super Bowl.
The Cincinnati Bengals will go to the Super Bowl, but this game will not be. I don't want you to expect that this game will be what the Bills was.
Okay.
I don't think this is not going to be a game where it's just going to be just a blatant blowout.
Sure.
I think y'all need to understand how great. I think this game will show you how great, even with the bad ankle, it will show you how great Andy Reid really is.
Absolutely.
So I don't think this game in any form or fashion. I think some people think, oh, if they just did this to the Bills, they'll do that to the Bengals. They'll do that to the Chiefs. Don't be an idiot. No, right. I don't see that. I don't see that happen at all. Honestly, I think if anything, this will be the first game that will go overtime.
Okay.
This is going to be the first game, that only game of this playoffs that's going to overtime, and I think that this game will be the game where the Bengals will once again pull it out, and Joe Burrow will make his staple as the number one quarterback in football. So with that being said, I got Cincy 31-24.
Okay. So I picked the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl, so obviously I picked the Bengals to win this game. I think Cincinnati is a better team in every facet. I know the Chiefs led the league in offensive stats all year, but I still think because of the balance the Bengals had, Mixon can go rush for 150 yards, or Joe could throw for 350. You know what I mean? The balance is what's key here. Kansas City, I don't care if Mahomes is hurt. That offensive line and that run game, the only problem these Chiefs has with their run game is they don't run the ball enough. That offensive line is nasty. So Hubbard and them, they're not going to have an easy task trying to get to Mahomes, even if he stays in the pocket. Kelsey, we know, is a dog. I think all in all, the Bengals offense is just too much for that Chiefs defense. And that offensive line, I think they're gaining confidence. And I think the Bengals I think they win this game. Because the Chiefs defense they're not great, but like all Steve Spagnuolo defenses, they play tough in the playoffs, man. And one thing about Steve, he comes up with some of the most elaborate blitzes. So with that said, I got the Bengals winning 31-27. I think what happens is Bengals go up. I think Chiefs, they need a touchdown drive to win the game. I think Mahomes just ankle or whatever can't get it done. I think Bengals hold on and win. Regulation, no overtime. I think Bengals, Philadelphia, Super Bowl. So let's get to these comments and let's get out of here, man. We will be back next week, of course, to recap championship weekend and look forward to the Pro Bowl. No, I'm joking, to the Super Bowl, of course. So let's get to these comments.
So I'm not talking about dodgeball. Like,
gonna say Kelsey fumbles in the clutch since he wins 34-31. Levante said Bengals 38-32. I said Cincinnati will pound the run game 28-21. Bengals go to Super Bowl. All right, so it seems like we all on the same page then. Seems like we all on the same page. This is kind of scary because we could all be wrong next week. You could have Niners Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. So this is a little tough, but appreciate y'all for checking out the show. We will be back next week, of course, to recap everything that we talked about today. Shout out to the Chiefs. Shout out to Eagles, Bengals, and, of course, the 49ers for doing a thing this year. Some great coaching, great football being played. It's sad that we're getting down to the end, but to me, this is the best time of year, the playoffs. You know what I mean? Some defense being played, the run game, the passing game, everything. So we will be back next week, of course. And as always, comment down below, share the show. Devontae, let them know where they can find you.
At Devontae Foreman and everything. Jay, thank you once again. Let's go playoffs, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Bengals fans, Eagles fans, Niners fans, Chiefs fans, and we will catch y'all next week. We are out. Peace.
Peace.